Yo guys, welcome to the first ever episode of something what we call Dev Exchange. This
Yes.
is going to be a series about everything, like from career to placements to AI to web to blockchain. And with me, we will be having our sir, Hari sir, over here. And in some videos, we will be having some guests over there. And we'll be talking about a particular topic in a single video. And we'll be sharing our point of view on what we think about that. So in this video, we'll be talking about cloning projects. So Hari, my first ever question to you. Have you made any projects which are cloned in your college time?
Before answering that, I would ask you one question. According to you, what is cloning project?
According to me, it's like cloning is like if we are talking about in terms of a fresher or a student point of view who is like in the first second year of the college, what I think is cloning is just doing git clone npm install and npm start. But if you talk in terms of like a person who is just moved into interest industry, what I think is cloning projects are something that um, gets the functionality of any big tech giant trying to replicate that functionality of these kind of giants. Like people make e-commerce clones, sometimes they make music player clones. So it's like people are making Spotify clones, Amazon clones. So what I think is it's just replicating the functionalities that they have over there into their own local PCs.
Okay,
What's
okay.
what about
That
you?
was very insightful answer. So, if we say it simply, we can say that it is a copy paste work, but it is not exactly that. But we can add on to that and say that copy paste with understanding of how a system or how a project works is my
Hmm.
understanding of cloning project.
Hmm.
So to answer your first question, I would say that yes, I have cloned thousands of projects. But my very first project was a UI that I saw on Pinterest. And as you know, I am a front end guy, so yeah, I have cloned that UI.
Okay. So you told about like thousand clones. Like which one did you actually understand when cloning the project?
If you say, in amongst this large corpus of project, I can say that after I cloned about 20 to 30 projects, I started understanding little by little ki, oh, this is how thing works. But at the starting point, man, it's very difficult. It's like, man, you know what? Teachers has said that I have to submit that project. You know what? I will go to GitHub, find someone, find good project, just clone it, npm install, and show them. That was my
Okay.
first go. But
So
yeah,
what do you think about the mindset that students right now have about cloning projects? Because I'll tell you what I think, and based on what I have seen the trend in my college, it's like students are making projects just for the sake of making. They don't want to, learn or have that uh, idea or perception of how that particular thing works. They are instead like, yeah, I just want to make that project. I want to submit it for my mini project in this sem. And they're like, they do make that projects just for that. So, what do you
hmm.
think? What's your point of view on that?
Mm, yes, okay. So there are couple of juniors who are connected to me and they regularly ask, Haribhai, do you have any projects for us? I am like, yeah, I do. I do have many projects, but you should understand how that project works. So to be frank, listening to them and understanding their perception and perspective about this, I can say with 100% that their aim is not to understand. Instead, they just want to submit it and get marks.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I also think. Like, it's what I think is cloning projects is important only when you are, trying to understand the
Yes.
internal working. Like,
Mhm.
the reason why people make cloning projects, like for example, if you understand the e-commerce projects, the most important thing over there is displaying the data in a very dynamic way based on what the user chooses. Like if we certainly take an example of the Amazon clone, like if we take any e-commerce, so there are different kind of products that you get based on different kind of niche that you choose. So I think that is what the developers should understand, or like the students should understand that what is the flow of that kind of project, specifically the payment gateway part.
Yeah,
Because I know Hari has told me like he works in a startup, and it's like he is working for that some payment gateway, and he had been working. If I'm not sure if you have worked on Razorpay, right?
yeah, Razorway.
So it was like he's working on Razorpay, and he had called like 2 3 times to their people. And yeah, what was it that actually?
So basically, my part was to design an architecture of how a system would be using any particular payment gateway. So according to our discussion with team, so we decided to go on Razorpay because it is much more trustworthy. But the thing is, before this, I didn't have any experience of creating any architecture. I was like in my fourth year, till my fourth year, I was like, I used to give the documentation and architecture part to my teammates. I was the only one to implement. So I understood many things about implementation, architecture, and everything. So in the midst of that, I like learned about how like to read documentation and everything, because I never used to read any technical documentation. Because if you see in front end, there is no, like, almost none, like, documentation. It's like, go to any
Hmm.
component library, just copy that component, see how that parameters works and everything. But in payment gateway and backends of, man, and that is really complex. Okay, so after that, the best choice I got was to see any projects that were working on Razorpay, like any projects who integrated Razorpay as their payment gateway. So I went
Hmm.
on GitHub, searched for projects, and saw that there were many projects. So I thought of cloning it, but the thing is, Razorpay needs API key. So that was the step where,
The biggest
yeah,
challenge for any developer
yeah,
is like, for the paid person, you need an API key. And
yeah,
as a fresher or as a student, you don't have any money to invest in that
yeah,
kind of tech.
yeah. So that was a moment where I understood that I should step back. No, not really. Actually, I tried my best and contacted their customer service and asked everything related to this
Hmm.
and my mind can offer. So one more thing which had happened was the UI of Razorpay that they provide, they changed it.
Man.
Yeah, everything. So I
Okay.
generated my test mode API, but the UI changed, the rules changed, but the documentation was not updated, and that was the reason why I contacted their customer care and asked that, yeah, was the reason, and they said that we have to like see your working website, or else we cannot give you a payment gateway API. So
It's like,
yeah,
how can you see it on my local host? Yeah? I have to
yeah,
first
that's the
integrate your service, and then I can
yeah
get
that
all those
was
things.
that was the genuine reaction that I had. So I said them, bro, how would a user use your system unless and until he or she would understand that your payment gateway is suitable for their system or not?
Hmm.
So they are like, no
Yeah.
man, it doesn't work like that and everything. So yeah, this was the
Okay.
journey.
Okay. So yeah, I think you can see like what is the journey when you are trying to integrate a payment gateway for the first time.
Yeah,
And yeah, apart from that, there are some things that I would like to say and I would like to cover is, um, while making this clone projects, I think everyone should understand the flow. The first thing is the flow. Like, if we go
absolutely.
on into any e-commerce website, there is a certain flow that is being carried out. Like, first is a user login authentication. Then the user has a different kind of options. Like, they want to go for electronics. They want to go for some sports goodies. So that is the flow, and then you can add to wish list, buy now, and the payment integration. And once the order is confirmed, to send a mail to the user like, yeah, this is your order. And also getting the dynamic data based on what user has. Like, if we go on Amazon, we have our wish list already created, which we have already created back. So we can get all the products which we were which were already present or chosen by us. So that is one thing, that is, I guess, understanding the flow. And when you are trying to build any kind of cloning projects, these projects that you see on YouTube are also made for like scaling, because at the end it's like you are the developer and you need to create such things where you can get a lot of customers. And to get a lot of customers, you need to understand how to code at scale. So that is the second thing that I think is developing things at scale. And also, one more thing that I've understood after getting a job is there are different architectural models based on what you want to make. There is a React framework that I use here currently. It's called UMI framework. UMI, it's like a Chinese-based framework, and it's actually very easy. Like if you know Redux at some level, uh, the way I use it, we have like almost 15 to 30 APIs, and though all those APIs are called in a single page. So if you try to get all API calls in a single page using React, you know how slow it would become, and how to handle it would be a difficult thing. So that's what I think is there are different kind of frameworks that are being already there, so that you can use them. I guess you also started with Svelte, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Recently. So how was
How
your
was your
experience
experience
on
on
Svelte?
Svelte?
Man, I never thought that any framework could be faster than this. Because they provide a demo project. Okay, so when we set up or we run command for creating a bare bone skeleton project of Svelte, they give a option to set up a demo project so that we can just play around with it and understand how their system work, architecture works, project flow works, and everything. So I saw that and I was like, bro,
Because
It's too fast,
yeah,
man.
because Hari
It's
used to
too
like
fast.
call me, भाई Svelte क्या है, क्या मस्त है Svelte, कितना फाड़ू है. I'm like,
Yeah.
is it? Because I was like, I had been into like Next.js and I have been into Vite and all those frameworks. And I was like, I've heard about Svelte, but I haven't touched any. So
Yeah.
yeah, this is also one thing that you guys can check it out. So
Yes.
yeah,
so yeah, so the thing is, it is fast, and one more greatest thing that it has is file-based routing. So you
okay.
know how routing works. Actually, Next.js also have it, but
Hmm.
I think Svelte. I have more command on Svelte, so I am like in favor of Svelte. So yeah, file-based routing. So yeah, that was a good experience. And one more thing I would like to add one more point is like flow is everything in a project, but when you clone a project, there are sometimes like if we if you have heard about threading, like no, sorry, throttling.
Heard about it and never
Throttling, yeah, there
went
is an
into
option
detail.
option in, yeah, developer tools. And
Yeah,
according
yeah,
to
yeah.
it, yeah, according to it, we can just simulate our network. Yeah.
Hmm.
So there are many projects, or if you see in Netflix or YouTube, they change their resolution according to our network speed, right? So
Hmm.
that
Yeah.
we are not creating a foolproof Netflix or YouTube, but we are just creating this small part where we are just showing how the architecture works and trying
Hmm.
to implement that part. If our network is slow, then our like resolution of our video or anything related to that should be compatible to our network speed. So yeah.
Okay. So yeah, apart from that, there are like if you see on one of our videos, which has got around 63,000 views. It's about mini project topics for CS and IT students, and I'm like uh, on an Instagram also. If you see, there are like people asking, भैया CS में ये ईयर में हूँ, मेरा ये लैंग्वेज है, what kind of project should I make? So what do you think, like according to you, uh, what kind of projects can a guy make, like apart from cloning?
I won't name any project, but I would like to suggest domains that you can mix and match. Yeah. The first
Hmm.
is any full stack app with AI.
AI is like
Yeah.
if you add anything, if you create even a to-do list with AI,
Yeah.
it's a good project.
Yeah.
Because at this point of time, I don't think not many of the developers know about integrating AI. Because what I think is people think like AI is difficult to implement. That's I guess I disagree to a certain level because AI is already made. If you see, the LLMs are
Yes.
already there. You are not supposed to create an entire chat GPT. You are
Yeah.
not supposed to create Gemini again. It's like
Yes.
API keys are already there. The documentation is already there. To integrate AI, you just need what Hari said was something called some key called API key. Okay. So that's the only thing that you need to integrate AI into your project.
Yes.
And if you have like some capacity of like computing capacity, then you can start creating AI on your own.
Yes.
So yeah, integrating AI is one such thing that
Yes. Yeah,
you
one
can
more
do.
thing I would like to add is we can use AI without API key also in our terminal. But the thing is, we need to, not we, you guys need to find a way that how you would be communicating to your terminal via your web app or any web server you are using.
Mhm.
There are multiple ways. You can buy your own server or you can make your laptop as your home server
Mhm.
and do many great stuff. And one more domain which I have been excited to like find and explore is cybersecurity. So you
Okay.
can create multiple good projects with web and cybersecurity. Like any you I was talking to my friend who was with me from 10th, I guess. I don't remember. He's in cybersec,
Okay.
and he is like, you know what, we should create a project. And I asked like what we have to create. He's like, we can create a project where we can integrate web and cybersecurity, like something like that.
Mhm.
So he's like, we can create a phishing link analyzer.
Guys, good project idea.
Yeah.
Hari has already said a good project idea. I
Yes.
guess you guys should like start taking down notes because these are some projects ideas which I also discussed it one with my colleagues over here, and I'll also tell some of the ideas then.
Yes. So yeah, these are like some of good domains and good projects that you guys can make. And our imagination is the limit. How you
Yeah.
imagine is
Yeah.
will be making the path for your project.
Hmm. I also think I already have, I guess, written five popular ideas that you can make. These are like from daily lives, like daily coding and daily watching some technical videos or reading some technical blogs on daily day. These are like the five popular ideas that I think are needed, and I guess it would have a greater impact in the future. The first one is like making a VS Code theme generator using
Hmm.
it's like a
Yeah.
web-based project only you can make, wherein you can give random color contrast selections, and after that you can just give out the response as settings.json, because it's like to
Yes.
create a theme on VS Code you just have to have a settings.json file or theme file.
Yes. For sure.
So that is one thing that you can make with VS Code theme generator. Second would be like a platform or a personalized platform for selling online courses. Let's say if you are a guy and who wants to sell courses, you can make up your own platform where you are kind of selling courses. Because if you see Udemy, Coursera, these kind of platforms are already existing. And yeah, if you want to get all your money to yourself without giving commission to anybody, you must have to work something, and then you can make thing work it out.
Yeah.
Then
Or else
next,
you guys can make a channel like us.
you can make your own personalized YouTube. But for that, you need a lot of storage space. You need a lot of CDNs and all those things. The third thing that I think would be a AI-based productivity tool, because that's what I think developers right now are lacking. There are productivity tools, yeah, there is Notion, but I think there should be some intense work on AI in these kind of tools. And these are like the two projects. The projects that I'll be telling is like this is what I am making right now, apart from my job. The first thing is AI based resume maker. It's like creating a resume based on the job description and the job role, wherein you will be integrating AI. As in, let's say you are integrating uh, Gemini. It's like you are just giving the prompt to the Gemini and taking the response, but you have to make the response very dynamic and you have to fine tune that model because it should give like the response in a very structured and formatted way because it as the resume as in I guess in today's time there is something called ATS like when you submit a resume it's like there is an ATS scan and there is a good ATS score so your resume score should be around 20 sorry not 20 80
80.
to 90 80 to 90 is
Yeah.
a good resume ATS score so that is one thing you can make and the fifth one what I think is an AI based resume maker for sorry AI based readme maker for projects because that's the one of the most difficult things we face. Like if you create a project, you know how the project works, but to
Yeah.
create a README using Markdown, it's like very boring.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm making a header and using double hashtags, triple hashtags. So it's better that you give the project idea, project description, title, and what the tech stack you have used, and then based on that, it will just create a beautiful README so that you can directly just copy, paste, git add, commit, push. That's the thing you can do. So yeah, these are the five projects that I have been thinking of since I came here. And yeah, I would like to know how Hari, if you would take a project, okay,
Hmm.
if you take a project, how do you like give the approach? Like, what is your approach if you're given, let's say, any kind of a freelance project? So, how will you approach
Okay.
it? And what kind of tools will you use for
Okay.
approaching?
So, yeah, before this, I will be saying that I would be giving a front end based perspective. So,
Okay.
I don't know much about how the things work behind the scene, but I
Hmm.
will say the approach that I use while making any project. So, yeah, if I get any project, first of all, I would try to understand any requirement or any extra like points the user or client wants,
Hmm.
right? After that, when I understand this, I will list down anything that is related to it. Yeah,
Okay.
anything related to it, like not stuff that are irrelevant.
Hmm.
Relevant thing will be listed down. After
Hmm.
that, I would be picking that stuff and be thinking how I can represent that emotion
Hmm.
or how I can represent that thing into a UI component,
Okay.
right? Before this, I will take about a good time to understand what color theme will be matching to it, because every colors have different meaning, right? Every color
Correct.
will
Yeah.
portray different thing. Like blue is for trust, yeah. White is
Hmm.
for peace and everything.
Hmm.
So I will try to understand their business, their motive, and try to adjust how are my color palette will be looking for them, yeah. After this, I would be making a wireframe for it. I would be contacting them how, like, is this to your liking, or you want to change
Hmm.
some stuff, or you want to add something like 3D images or anything related to it.
Hmm.
After that, the part of tools come, yeah, because this wireframe is hand drawn. And
Yeah. Correct.
one more thing is wireframe can be drawn on multiple like Figma, penpot, and many other
Hmm.
tools. But the thing is, you need to keep a like habit of using pen and paper, because I think that way we can think much more fluently and much more perfectly.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
After that, the part of tool comes, and the tools which I use, I have mentioned it: penpot, Figma. If there is any 3D stuff, I would try to replicate it through Blender or something, or we can do it
Hmm.
on Photoshop also. And UI part is finished here.
Okay. So I'll tell you in terms of like getting the full stack part. Uh,
Yeah.
so first of all, what I'll do is I'll define the PS. Like what exactly does the say if I'm doing any freelance work. So I'll just firstly define what the client wants. Yeah, he wants this kind of an e-commerce website or he wants this kind of website. So like stating down what the client has. Then this is what I have been doing after like getting a lot of projects during my college, like making not academic projects, but apart from the co-academic, we say it like co-curricular projects. So in these kind of projects, this has also been have been my approach. So I don't directly start coding. I just first create a workflow. Like
Hmm.
the user authenticates. If he is authenticated, he will be redirected to this page. If no, redirected to this page, or else like not found 404 page. So like
Hmm.
listing down the workflow.
Hmm.
Then what I'll do is that workflow would be on like a board. If I was in college, I would like just draw it on the board, or as you said, in pen and paper.
Yeah.
Then there are a lot of tools that I've come across, and we at Coding Adda we still use these kind of tools. One such is Whimsical. Like if
Yes.
you are creating any
Great tool.
project, if you see the
Yeah.
project of like the note taking app, like the Find My Notes project, that project was initially first designed in the Whimsical. We actually designed that project. What are the things that we want? Then we started working on it. Next is something called Exalidro. Exalidro is also a great project, or not project. It's also a great tool that we
Great
use.
tool. Yeah.
And one such is which is becoming a lot famous right now is Eraser.io. These three
Hmm.
are like
Yes.
the stunning tools which are used for like creating a visual if you are a
Hmm.
beginner. But if you are someone who is like proper UI, into UI, you can directly start with creating the Figma design and then like the prototype, because that's the one thing which the client usually does not approve at a single point. They are like, no, I don't want this image to be here. I want different kind of images. So that's the one thing that they can go for. The next thing is, as in terms of what I said, is for the database. This is what I've learned recently. There are also tools, which can help you visualize your database.
Oh, okay.
So visualizing as in what are the fields that you want, what are the attributes that you want in that fields. Like if there is a number, do you want it to be a primary key or a foreign key?
Hmm.
And if it is a name, do you want it to be null or anything like that? What should be the data
Hmm.
type for it? So there are tools like ChartDB that can
Hmm.
actually like visualize things. And if you want to map, like yeah, this foreign key, this should be the foreign key, and this should be the mapping of this table to this table. You can directly drag and drop it, so it will
Okay.
automatically create a mapping and tell you like these are the common things in this kind of tables.
Hmm.
So this is like we can say visualizing your database. And mostly I've
Yes.
seen it with PostgreSQL. I guess for
Hmm.
SQL also there might be some tools that can be used.
Yeah, actually there is one tool actually
Which one?
where I am working right now. Actually, I got to know this tool here only. So
Okay.
it is a very powerful tool actually. I think
Hmm.
no many of like 90% of people may not know about this. The name is
Okay.
Plant UML.
Yeah, plant UML. Yeah,
Yes.
you discussed with
Yeah,
me. Yeah.
it's a great tool that works like it's like you code it and it will generate a flowchart or diagram or a
Hmm.
sequence diagram or any diagram you want. Like you are speaking about DB representation, right? It can do
Hmm.
that also.
Okay. There's this one video which I saw of a creator. Uh, he made a video on Zapier. I knew about Zapier, but I did not know like this is the way you can actually automate your things. The video
Hmm.
was about whenever a video is added to a playlist, automatically a LinkedIn post will be generated based on that video.
Great.
So that's how like you are just automating the things. You are just giving the playlist ID and you are just making a trigger. Like when the video is added to the playlist, take the title description and then create a LinkedIn post, or
Yeah.
you can make
After
like
hearing
Instagram.
about automation, like I'm very curious about how their API would be working behind the scene.
I guess that would be allowed, uh, you know, optimizing it to a very super
Super
smooth level.
efficient level, yeah. Actually I have like I was very curious about like when I started backend.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I was very curious about cloning, right? Yeah, we were speaking about cloning. So like I have a question. So I have cloned multiple front end stuff. I have cloned
Hmm.
many UI components. I have made personal component library as well. So what is this about? Like, if I want to make an API, there is a particular method. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what if I want to simulate an API that is similar to Amazon or something? Like, how
Okay.
would it happen, or how would you think, or what
Hmm.
what a single user can achieve by cloning this type of stuff?
I to talk reply on that. Uh, Coming to Bangalore, I've been into various tech events. Like they happen every day. Actually, they happen every day, but I usually get time on my weekends. So recently, when I've been going to an event, I learned a lot about APIs, because as developers, as freshers, as students, we know only little bit. Okay, so it's like if we see normally taking a simple scenario, like if the user is not authenticated, so what we do is we redirect the user directly in the front end. Correct? We
Yes.
put a condition like if the user is like this, do this. But actually, that's not a good way. What I have seen
Okay.
is people actually have a key value pair wherein if the status is 404,
Yeah.
it is directly given the path to that component. Like if the 404 has not found page, so it's like there are like HTML codes inside that, not HTML,
Mm-hmm.
HTTP codes.
HTTP. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like the parent object, and inside that there are key value pairs like 200 redirection component. It's like key value only,
Oh, okay.
like dot dot slash success, 400 dot dot slash not found, and 404, let's say something else. So it's like that. And one more thing is what APIs can do is they can actually take up your components as a key value. Okay, so instead of directly passing the path, you can
Hmm.
actually pass the component,
Okay.
and based on that, it will render it in the front end.
Okay. Okay.
So that's one thing that I was like, when I went to another, I'm like, is this? I actually sat with the speaker and I'm like, how do you think, like how did this come up? It's like, no, this kind of thing is usually used in the industry. I'm like, okay, I'll also have to start
Great.
implementing those things. And yeah, I think what students and what we guys know is like this much, but actually API is a lot. Like there are various tools.
Yeah.
One
Actually.
such tool, like if we see about
Hmm.
Postman is like a great tool. And if you guys check it out, Postman's explore page, you will see a lot of APIs. Me and Hari were recently seeing, and we're like, this can be a good project idea. You can like actually get
Actually.
a lot of APIs over
Yeah,
there.
the thing is, there are thousands of APIs, and every day new API come up. And if you create
Hmm.
single project with single API, man, you would be stacked with projects. Your GitHub would be like green forest.
Yeah, you'll be a green green flag.
Oh no, man. I don't think we
So
need to go there. Yeah. So actually, yeah, that's very vast topic about APIs and everything.
yeah, we can actually take
Next,
up a single episode entirely on API.
yeah, actually,
Yeah.
we should call someone who is whose career is about making APIs and he knows
Hmm.
legitimately everything. Yeah, we can
Yeah.
do one episode about it. So
Hmm.
my next thing is, I think we should end our episode with our
No,
next.
no, I do have some points to cover after that.
Okay,
So yeah,
okay.
what I was telling is like you can use Zapier. Then what I do is usually start with backend, because
Hmm.
as I know, creating APIs is one of the not difficult. It is time consuming, and testing
Yeah.
them to get the proper
Yes.
responses sometimes difficult. And comparatively, if you see on the front end, if you are having some time constraint, you can directly use some ready-made templates which can get you the UI that you want. But
Okay.
there are no such things wherein you can get your APIs ready-made. because those APIs would be a lot dynamic. It is like based on what user wants, what is your personalization that you're trying to add.
Yeah.
So what I think is start with the backend, then once the backend is done, start with the front end, and don't directly go for CSS right now if it is very much needed in your projects. What I think is there are a lot of UI libraries which are available right now, which is something like Magic UI, Tailwind CSS, Shad C, and Material UI, and all those things. So I think that they can use the UI libraries. And the last question that I have from my side is, what do you think uh, is deployment important?
Very, very important. Very
Hari's
important.
answer like within point and saying
It's very
very
important.
very important.
Yeah. You know why? Because I got a reality check very soon.
What
Yeah.
happened?
The thing is, I was talking with my senior. Like he's very experienced in it. So yeah, I was talking with him. He just asked, like, do you know about deployment and stuff?
Hmm.
I was very confident. I was like, yeah, I have deployed multiple website. Oh, he's like, he was curious. Seeing my confidence, he was curious, and he's like, yeah, yeah, say, what did you do? Like, what
Hmm.
was in your project? Before that, you should say, like, where did you deploy it? And
Hmm.
you guessed it. I said Vercel and Netlify. He's like, oh no, man, bro, listen, it's not deployment, okay?
Yeah.
That is not deployment.
Hmm.
Yeah. So the real deployment is that we set up a server, we set up a web server in it, like Nginx. We set up a PM, process manager. Then we clone our project in that server. Then
That
we
is
set
also
up a
Hari's
proxy
answer. We
pass
have
in
projects
Nginx.
answer.
Then we do many stuff, and then we map our domain in it. After that, when we see that stuff on our browser, that is known as deployment.
Hari,
Okay.
Hari actually gave you a English dictionary definition of what deployment is. Okay.
So yeah, deployment is very, very crucial. The thing is, what I realized is we can do this thing completely for free. Yeah,
Okay, because I have actually
the
deployed a
thing is,
website where I have paid around 2000 rupees. Okay, okay.
but the thing is, before that, I would say like I got a task to replicate deployment process on my local machine. So we can do that stuff locally. So I researched it. Like I was curious about like how can I access my website outside my network. So I
Hmm.
was like, I was researching it and found that we can do that.
Hmm.
Yes, we can
Because
do that.
around during deployment also, I like if you go to like aditya3d.in, that's the portfolio that I deployed. It was like a year
By
back.
the way, guys, visit his portfolio. Great stuff.
So that was actually when I purchased my own domain, aditya3d.in, and usually as Ari said, I used to like deploy it on version only. So when I purchased the domain, that's when I learned about something called domain mapping.
Hmm.
Like you need to add that particular address to your uh, server in that server, because like
Yeah.
if you go on to GoDaddy and like Hostinger, they already give you a web server. It's like their web server only, just with a domain name. So when I
Yes.
did that, there was something like a values you have to put it on your Vercel so that it can, or like vice versa on the domains part. There are a lot of things like the addresses. You have to copy that address and paste it over here. And apart from like if you go to vercel.com, you can actually see to get a custom domain like map to. So I added my domain name over there. So if you go to aditya3d.in, the website is actually hosted on Vercel, but it is mapped into my custom
Yes.
domain server. So that's one thing that people can start with. And yeah, as far as what I think is how easy is the front end deployment, that much tough is the back end deployment.
Back end development. Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it's like building a front end may take chalo, it can take 1 2 failures, like it may take like, yeah, image is not defined with the correct width and height. But if you deploy a backend, you'll actually see this API is not correct. It does not take this response, because what happens in deployment usually, what I've seen is it's like directly building that thing and testing it along its way, and when it
Yes.
deploys, it should be working well. So I have faced a lot of like angry days when I used to deploy my backend and it isn't is doesn't yeah wouldn't sorry, my English, trying this trying this kind of podcast for the very first not podcast series, so please bear my English. So it was like I wasn't able to deploy it for the first time. So it was like 2 3 days I used to get a very angry. I'm like, why is it not deploying? So after it
Why isn't it
succeed,
working?
yeah, understand, bhavna samjho. So it, it went like that, and once it is deployed, it's very easy to integrate it with the front end because the APIs are dynamically into the deployed URL. So that's
Mhm.
the thing. What I think is about deployment.
Yes.
Yeah. What's the one thing that you wanted to say before
Yeah,
ending this one?
actually, the thing is, have you had any conversation about cloning with your senior or any colleague? Because I recently had our conversation with my brother. I can say he's my brother, like super brother. He's about 10 to 15 years older than me. He's an
It's
uncle.
like Goku Super Saiyan, Super Brother.
Yeah, so I was just saying that you know what I want to apply for jobs and everything. I was
Hmm.
having a conversation about it. So he just checked my resume and my one of my best UI cloned project was thread login clone.
Yeah,
You
that's
would know
one
it.
great project, guys. You should
Yeah.
absolutely check out Hari's GitHub repo. So you can actually see like there is only like 0.5% different if you are like proper developer, or else if you are like a first time developer, see like yeah, it's just the same as we see on uh, what we say on the actual website. And yeah, what was your how did you come across that? Like
Yeah.
I know we had a conversation. You were like, bro, I'm not able to make this kind of design.
Yeah, that's the different story actually. My colleague Pardesi, I called him. He is also a front end developer, by the way. He is pursuing different domain right now. I won't disclose many thing about him, right? I don't know if he would allow
He'll
it
be
or not,
he'll be
but
hitting Hari right then.
yeah. So actually, I was frustrated. You know, I was resizing my screen. It is like it's becoming small and big, but actual design wasn't like that. So I just asked him. He was like, you know what? You should add a position fix class, position fix style, and
Hmm.
it will be done, bro. Like what? I was wasting my 2 days on it, and he's like coming in the meet 2 minutes, just saw it and debugged it as soon as possible. So yeah, that was. So our conversation was, he saw the project. He asked like, "What
Hmm.
is it?" The first thing he said was, "भाई ये सब मत कर." I was like, "Why? It's one of my greatest, like one of my best UI cloned website."
Hmm.
So he is like, "Bro, you know what is it, right?"
Hmm.
I'm like, I was playing dumb, by the way. I'm like, what? You know, fishing. It can be a fishing website. You know, you are doing fishing website thing right here. I'm like, my intention wasn't that, but partially it's right. Partially it's right. So in front end, we say that you guys may know about phishing attack, right? Like we are creating same UI or same login page as Facebook or anything.
Hmm.
The guys will come login in
Hmm.
it. The login credential will be accessed by us or the attacker, not us.
Hmm.
Attacker, and he or she would be redirected to the login page of original Facebook or any system.
Hmm. Correct.
So he was like, bro, it's all good for practice and everything, but showing it in huh, if you are showing it in this way, then it may not be a
Hmm.
good idea or something. So
Okay.
what's your view on it?
I think at some point of time it's good. And what I would say is just personalize your thing. It's like personalizing. If you're making any kind of a project, try to personalize it. Don't have that intention of fishing, making that fishing kind of website.
Yeah.
And if
Yes.
you're making it, just make it for your own, and don't have that any kind of intention scheme. I'll just make a facing website for Facebook and I'll get all the user data. But it's like initially we think like that, but once we are falling into the trap, getting out of that is very difficult.
Yeah, very difficult actually. The thing
Yeah.
is, for practice it's good. Like if you are
Hmm.
creating exactly same 0.01% of difference is there, then bro, you are good front end developer and you have great understanding about layouting and everything.
Hmm.
It's good. But if you add a personal taste to it, personal branding to it, or you even improvise that design, then man, yeah, that would be one of your greatest product for front end development.
Hmm. Yeah, I think this was a pretty good thing that we talked about, and really wanted to start this kind of series on a channel,
Yes.
and we did not have any kind of topics to talk, and we are like, bro, let's start with something that we have been doing from our college time, and let's talk about what our point of view is. And yeah,
Yes.
uh, we hope to get a lot of conversations like this over our
Yeah.
channel in the near future. And yeah, we'll be posting this kind of videos like two every month, and because it's very difficult for us to
Yes.
manage our jobs and this, so trying our best to get all the kind of content that you want on our channel. And yeah, uh, I guess this was it for this video. If you liked it, please make sure to subscribe, like, share, and also what?
Please do comment your thoughts on cloning the project everywhere on our social, not only our YouTube comments.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, and yeah, if you like the video, like, share, and subscribe to the channel,
Right.
and also talk about it on your social media and do tag us. We'll definitely reply it to our videos, to your comments. And yeah, this was it for the video, and see you in the next episode. Until then, bye bye.